You too. What is good? We are back with another episode of the King and Deuce Show. Deuce, what's got to get it out here, man. We got a very interesting, very interesting show tonight. I think a lot of people are going to be very entertained by this. It's something that has been years in the making for at least for me to make this video. 20 years almost to the day. We got a few months away from this, but about 20 years since this has happened. So we are going to be talking about Malice at the Palace. And King, I know we both have some history with this, with our ages. We were actually able to watch this live. And to this day, it's still one of the most groundbreaking events that's ever happened in NBA history. So I just kind of want to get your thoughts before we kind of dig into this here. If there's anything you kind of want to share about what you remember about the rivalry or anything like that. What are you feeling?
What I remember from the rivalry was, every time we played the Pacers, it was just chippy, tough.
Yeah.
There's just a really pesky game against the Pacers, man. They had a tough, hard-nosed team over there, just like we did. And, I appreciate every matchup we had against them.
Right.
The Malice at the Palace situation, man, what I can remember from it, man, was the disgust I had with some of the media. They try to make it seem all on Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Not talking and highlighting the fact that you had players that ran into the stands and attacked the fans first. You know what I'm saying? Whether they threw things or not. Right. Every sport fans throw things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you should never go run up into the crowd and fight the fans if you Ron Artest and if you Steven Jackson.
Man,
I was just disgusted with that. I was more pissed than anything.
So let's get into that, bro, because we've had a lot of people the past few months here asking us to talk about Malice at the Palace. And we kind of wanted to wait until the time was right. But with us both watching that game live when it happened, I felt like we definitely have to kind of dig into this. So we were fresh off a championship, right? And we were about to graduate from high school. We had just graduated from high school because it was the following season. Mm-hmm. I was coming into this game on a high, bro. I was looking forward to this game. And let's just rewind for a second. Let's rewind to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? The previous year when the Pistons and the Pacers met up for what was a 6-game dogfight. It looked like these two teams were going to be battling each other for years, like year after year, coming into the series just from watching them. And that season, the Pacers, man, they were a very good team. They finished with, I think it was 61 wins, 61 or 62, at least 60, first in the East. And they were led by Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal. Now, I'm going to be honest, bro. I feel like Jermaine O'Neal gets overlooked way too often because in his prime, he was, in my opinion, he was a top 5 point or power forward in his league. He was unguardable in the post. He could score a will against anybody. It was just that his window was so small, so he gets overlooked. But I really believe that the Pacers would have also beaten the Lakers that same season in the finals. And that's taking nothing away from my team, right? But I feel like the Pacers just matched up with them just as well as we did. And so when you think about Ron Artest, right, he was one of the best wing players in the league, not just defenders, but players. And he actually won DPOY that year. We won the championship. We beat him in the conference finals. And like I said, that was a bloodbath, bro. It was one of the most physical series I've ever seen. The offense was ugly and hard to watch, but that's just because the defense was a masterpiece on both sides. And it was a slow-paced, half-court game. Both teams knew what the other wanted to do on offense. It really just came down to will and execution. And I think down the stretch, the Pistons just out-executed them just a little bit. They executed a little bit better than the Pacers did. And we won the 6 games. I think the score was like something like 69-65 in game 6. But I knew for a fact, though, even though we won that series, even though we won, I still knew that Indiana was going to be a problem. So, and what made it worse is that they were coached by Rick Carlisle. And he had just been fired by the Pistons the year before, right? Because we had got swept by the Nets in the conference finals, and he got fired, and we brought Larry Brown in. So there was a huge chip on his shoulder, too, as a whole. It was a chip on everybody's shoulder when it came to us. And in that run, our finals run, man, I was more concerned with the Pacers than I was the Lakers because of how they matched up. Once we beat the Pacers, bro, I felt that we could and should beat whoever we played in the finals, whether it was the Lakers or the Spurs.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, many people thought that it should have been the Spurs that year in the finals. You know, that was the same year that Derek Fisher made that shot, that turnaround jumper with like 0.6 left on the clock that won that game. That was that series. So, and that in large part determined that series for the Lakers and the Spurs. So a lot of people feel like the Spurs should have been in that finals. But I do think that 2014 would have beaten the Spurs that season. Because the 04 team was different from 05. We talk about it all the time, right?
Right.
We lost our depth. Okor, Corliss, Mike James, Eldon Campbell, everybody. They were all gone. Only person we added was McDyess. And he was good for us, but he's just one guy. So looking back, that Indiana team was dangerous. So what were your thoughts on Indiana? Did they scare you? Did you feel as if they were a threat? Did you feel like they would be there in the future? You kind of feel like they were like a one-hit wonder type of thing? What was your thoughts about Indiana with that rivalry we had with them?
Indiana was right along with those, you know, the New Jerseys and, back then it was the Beastern Conference, right? You know, now it's the Eastern Conference, but back then it was the Beastern Conference. And, you know, those teams, like I said, they were built similar, you know what I'm saying? So it always was a chess match in those games.
Right.
And it made it even more exciting, but at the same time, you're nervous, man, because you don't want your team to lose the series. So
right.
I appreciate that type of playoff basketball more than anything.
Right.
You know, predictable series to me are boring. You know, that type of basketball, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, man. It's nothing like it. And then when your team come out as the victor, it's just all the more better, you know? So, man, that team was a force. And just to you know, add to what you said about Jermaine O'Neal was that dude, you know what I'm saying, at the point in his career. You know, I look at guys like him, Chris Bosh, you know, some of the bigs in this league, because, you know, when Chris Bosh took the lesser role in Miami, people seem to forget about Toronto, Chris Bosh for some reason.
Facts.
So, you know, these dudes were real forces, legit forces, man.
Yeah.
And
100%.
You know, like I said, man, that team was built to go up against the Pistons, man. That team was built right. And you know, for our team to you know, pull it out, squeak it out like we was doing, you know, besides this night that we get ready to talk about.
Yeah.
Man, it was exciting. I loved every second of it.
Absolutely, bro. So I kind of want to set the scene a little bit before we actually play the video. So for those who don't remember, right? I think most of you guys here probably do. But for those that don't, so the date was November 19th, 2004, on a Friday night. I'll never forget it. It was Bill Laimbeer and George Blaha on the local broadcast, but this was actually an ESPN broadcast. Yes, ESPN. There was a time when the Pistons were on national broadcast pretty regularly, and it happened when they were at the peak of their powers during this run. And it was the first matchup since the conference finals that we played them. And you could kind of just feel the tension. You could feel the tension through the TV screen. At least I could. Mm-hmm. You could feel Indiana was chomping at the bit. They were licking their chops. They were on a mission. It kind of reminded me, bro. It reminded me of Denver, Minnesota. Right? Last year, Denver, they beat Minnesota in the playoffs en route to their title. Mm-hmm. But you could see Minnesota was coming. They were coming. They were going to be back. And Minnesota was best constructed to beat Denver. And they came back on a mission this year and they beat the champ. Right? So, like Minnesota, Indiana was constructed to beat Detroit, who would also have beaten Indiana the previous year en route to their championship. So, would Indiana have beaten us in the playoffs that following season? Who knows? Could they have? Yes. But to make matters worse, in the 2004 offseason, the Pacers went and got Steven Jackson, man. Yeah. All the smoke, Steven Jackson. And he was still in his prime. He was still a very good player at that time. And he fit the Pacers like a glove, bro. He was their missing piece, the same way she was our missing piece. So from tip-off, bro, I knew the Pacers were serious. They came out looking like a team that it seemed like they came out like they felt they should have beat us. You know, they were just a little bit better than we were in every aspect. They were a little faster, a little more physical, a little more tougher, more crisp on both ends. And Steven Jackson, bro, he gave them another offensive weapon in a defensive matchup that made it very, very tough for us. It just looked like the better team that night. Right. So that night, they blew us out, 97-82. And Reggie Miller didn't even play that game. That's the crazy part. He had a broken hand. And so they didn't even have all their guns. And they still were beating us pretty handily on our home court, which had me worried. So to be fair, though, like Reggie was older. He wasn't the same Reggie Miller, right? He was in his last season, but he still was effective. He actually hit a game. He actually hit a game winner against us, against the Pistons in the 2005 playoffs, the following year, which we'll get into later. So he was still effective. But it was the only time I was really worried, bro, about another team possibly being better than we were up to that point in our run.
Yeah.
So it was scary, man. So that brings us to the play, right? The play that actually caused Malice at the Palace. And for context, just a couple of weeks before it actually happened, Ben Wallace's brother James had passed away. And Ben has openly acknowledged this. And he actually said that he was, at the time, like a powder keg that was just waiting to get triggered off by something. Mm-hmm. Into Ron Artest, right? Before that hard foul on Ben, Pacers guard Jamal Tinsley, I'll never forget it. Jamal Tinsley, who I call Mr. Instigator, he encouraged Ron Artest to take a shot at Ben because I guess Artest had felt that Ben had taken a shot at him earlier in the game. Mm. And so Artest was like in his mind winding up. But here's the thing. This is the crazy part. Steven Jackson actually heard what Tinsley said to Artest. And as a result, Steven Jackson was like, nah, bro. So Steven Jackson on that play, he picked up Ben Wallace on defense. That wasn't his man, but he picked him up. He was trying to keep Artest away from him, right? So 40 seconds left in the game. Down 15. Ben goes to the basket. And like I said, Steven Jackson picked him up because Steven Jackson, he didn't want no problems. He didn't even want no smoke. He was trying to prevent smoke. So when Ben goes to the basket, Artest, for some reason, helps off of his guy and basically like punches Ben in the back and pushes him at the same time. Right? He didn't follow him straight up. He like caught him from behind. And so the game was out of reach. So it was obviously more than just a foul. It meant something. You know, he was trying to get some get back. So, and I'm telling you, bro, you could probably remember this. When he fouled him, Ben Wallace turned around so freaking quick. And when he did that, I was like, yes, this is not. I knew something was about to happen. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Just from his react, he turned around so fast. Like, oh, word. And you could see when he turned around, you saw Pacers players trying to get over to him because they saw what was going on too. So, and from that point on is when we have what's called the Malice at the Palace. So now we're going to go ahead and get into it. I just kind of wanted to paint the scene for those who may not have seen it. So with that, we are going to go ahead and play it.
Artest with 24, Jermaine O'Neal with 20 and 13 rebounds, 15 and 6 boards for Austin Crozier.
So this is the previous play.
A sellout crowd is now pretty empty here.
Steven Jackson with a pair of free throws. It's 97-82.
Okay, now watch Steven Jackson down here. He's right here. He's guarding Ben. He's telling him, no, stay away. I got Ben. He lets him go. And that's when Artest fouled him. And you see how fast? You see how fast? Did you see how fast Tinsley turned around and tried to get over there when Ben? Look at Ben. Instantly turned around. He's trying to come over. Too late. And from here, look how small the referee is, bro. Referee.
You have to be half retarded to take a shot at Ben Wallace, bro.
Man.
Which Ron Artest is half retarded. Makes sense.
And now, see, Ron Artest he's trying to taunt Ben at this point.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson is trying to square up with Derek
I think it's also a little bit of shock going through him too at the same time, man.
Probably so.
Pushed in the head and neck like that.
Probably so. You know what I respect? I'm gonna go back a little bit. You know what I respect about this? Reggie Miller had a broken hand. Mm-hmm. And look at him protecting his guy. No, y'all not getting over here. I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Steven Jackson still screaming at the Pistons. Derek Coleman pulling Ben back.
you can hear Steven Jackson yelling, "What are you doing?"
Right. So watch Artest. I remember this. She wanted to smoke.
Being pulled back by Pat Sullivan.
Artest takes. You see that? He took the headset off of. So now he's just taunting. Now he's just taunting.
Artest is going on the
And Reggie's like, bro, stop. What are you doing? What are you doing?
The Indiana broadcast.
And then I think Ben threw his headband at Artest.
Yeah.
A substantial fine and suspension if he doesn't.
And now he's laying back down. Yeah, he was just, man. Artest was
Here come the
clowning,
cup.
man. Ben's still trying to get over there.
Rashid is still over on the Indiana side of the timeline.
He's throwing all his wristbands in the crowd. And now Artest goes into the stands.
Here we go.
And that's so crazy. This is so crazy. I'm going to go back just a little bit. This is crazy because the guy that hit him, his name is John Green. It wasn't even the guy that Artest attacked.
Right, I know.
It was the wrong guy.
Innocent bystander.
You see this guy right here in the blue who's behind Artest?
Yeah, that's the one that threw
That's
it.
the one this is the guy that threw it. But Artest goes after the wrong guy. And now he's grabbing Artest after he
He's absolutely out of his mind.
Wow.
Boy.
Slugging people in the crowd here.
Now watch
He's
John
next.
Green, the same guy. Watch the same guy. This is the crazy part.
Now the Pistons are coming over.
You're gonna see him try to punch him, Artest. He's trying to punch Artest. Insane.
This is not good for the NBA.
And then he realizes, oh, it's a bunch of fans here. Let me get up out of here before I get jumped.
Let me get up out of here.
We'll never see. She has to get out of the stands.
What in the world is going on?
Wow. And then this fan comes out of nowhere.
Keeper in the whole thing up in the stands right
I
now.
mean, he brought that on himself. Why are you walking on the court, bro?
That's crazy.
To try and keep people apart.
There's a fight down the other.
Yeah, it could have this could have been really bad, bro.
This is on the floor.
If this was downtown Detroit,
It would have been a wrap.
somebody really been hurt.
It'd have been a wrap, bro. It would have been, yeah, it would have
You
been,
out there beating up on those Auburn Hillians.
yeah, yeah,
Now, if
facts.
you was in Detroit, it'd have been a problem for real, for real.
I'm glad it wasn't, bro,
Get mad.
because everybody would not have made it out of there.
When these guys
You ain't running up in the crowd.
they're so
Nah, not at all, not at all.
there's almost nothing you can do. This was a Pier 6 brawl at the Palace tonight.
Wow. It's like every time I watch it, I see something different.
45.9 seconds to go.
Indiana's home
There's Chuck Person.
in the court.
Two Pacers in the crowd fighting fans.
Yep,
Throwing things, bottles.
insane, bro.
Sports
And they
media found a way
lit
to
these
make it
fools
like it's
up,
all
bro.
our
They lit
fault.
them up. They lit them up.
Oh yeah,
They're showering.
yeah.
Heading
he
into
got
that tunnel.
everything. He got everything.
Him, they were throwing chairs at Jermaine O'Neal,
Have you ever been
popcorn, beer.
49 years? I've never seen anything like that. I've seen
Look at this, man.
Yeah.
stands for a
But Jermaine O'Neal was silly. What are you trying to fight with him for, bro? That's a losing battle.
A lot of hands and feet. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Very emotional
That's
game.
just, bro.
Indiana came here with a lot of intensity, a lot of emotion.
Yeah, I could not believe this was happening, bro. Watching this live,
well, Ron Artest.
I was sitting on the couch. I couldn't even say nothing. I just was sitting on the couch with my mouth open, bro. Like,
bruh. And of course, it was on ESPN for the whole world to see. This wasn't during social media time where,
Over there.
you know what I'm saying? You got 30 different angles in 5 minutes as soon as this
Right.
happens.
Anything like
Right.
this again in pro sports.
Well, at least in the NBA.
this was on the news and on every media outlet you can think of.
Bro, imagine if this happened
Entire
today.
month or so.
Imagine if this happened today.
Man,
Ben is still.
The game has been called.
There's Darvin Ham. Larry Brown was trying to grab the PA mic to calm down the crowd,
If you remember,
but they wouldn't turn it on for him.
782.
Wow.
And the way it ended was as ugly
I don't think they threw anything at Rick,
as anything you
which I was happy to see because he didn't have nothing to do with that. Coach Carlisle.
Unbelievable.
yeah, a lot of people were still heartfelt about him anyway because they didn't want him to get fired.
Yeah, right. Good point. That's a great point.
Well,
Great
the
point.
Fans, like most fans,
8 years old, Craig.
yeah.
Yeah.
Players and then
Man.
suddenly, Ron Artest ran into the stand.
So I think that's pretty much it. Here's a better replay.
Just a
Right
bunch
here.
of talk after that.
Here we go. He turned around so quick. First, he tried to get over there because he already knew it was coming. Rashid saved this situation, bro.
Now, here's
Right
the thing.
there. Right
Ron
there.
Artest,
And he
Ron
pushed Ben
Artest-
out of the way.
Ron Artest is the type of dude that'll run back up on you. He ain't run back up on Ben.
No. As soon as he fouled him, he knew he made a mistake because he put his head down.
Life was wonderful. Run Artest goes and gets
As soon as he fouled Ben and Ben turned around, he dropped his head.
This baggage he's been having, he doesn't want any part of it.
He didn't want them problems, bro.
Here comes Run Artest into the stand.
He wanted those problems.
That's wild.
There's John Green right there in the blue. And so the wrong guy got hit. So the wrong guy's friend tried to help by throwing beer at Artest, and then Jackson came over and hit him. And now you see John Green in blue hitting Artest. Look at that.
Man.
And there's a guy, a fan.
Right, and Mike Brown is grabbing him too. Insane. And then he realizes what's going on and he gets up out of there.
That's wild, B.
Wild, bro.
Cardinal sin of any professional sporting event is that a player, and no matter what happens,
Yeah, that's wild.
go into the stands. That is the
Look at this jersey.
ultimate sin
Jersey almost torn in
as far
half.
as professional sport is concerned. You can
All
have
that
fights
pulling.
on the floor,
Yeah.
take your suspensions, but when you start going to fan,
Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Here's a fan walking up to Artest,
Why would you walk up on?
and Ron swings at him.
All right. Look at this fool. That's when Jermaine O'Neal came and laid him out.
Swinging at a fan.
Man, this is going to be.
And you know what, bro? He's lucky he slipped, because if he don't slip, that dude is out cold.
Dollars are going to be given away
Yep.
by some of these players.
And the suspension was correct.
Man,
They were correct.
insane, bro. Insane. It never ceases to amaze me how often I watch it. It never ceases to amaze me what took place. Okay. So, did you know that Ben Wallace's brother was banned from attending games at the
Yeah.
Palace
Yeah.
for not beating up, but he was punching Fred Jones
Yes.
in the stands.
Working him out, bro.
Working
I remember that like
him
yesterday. Working him out. In
So think about it. That was also his brother had passed too. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Ben's brother so that was his brother as well. So emotions were flying all out of control, bro. All out of control. It was just a bad timing situation.
On top of
Go ahead.
on top of that, them two big country boys, bro. Like, what are y'all doing? Like,
all
what are y'all
of
really
Ben's
doing?
brothers. All of
Yeah.
Ben's brothers are like this. It ain't
Like,
just Ben.
bro.
All of them. Yeah.
Like, these dudes throw wood and chop wood, bro. Like,
Right. Yeah,
what
they
y'all
country.
doing, bro? Y'all city boys, man.
They country strong.
Yeah,
country
they
strong.
strong, man.
Yeah.
Ain't no
So
way.
it's crazy because Ben's brother was actually banned from attending games at the Palace. I don't know if that was upheld once Tom Gores took over, because Bill Davidson was still the owner at that time. I don't know if that still was upheld, but I thought that was crazy that he got banned for life from going to at least the Palace. Maybe hope I don't know if he's at LCA now, but so I have a confession to make, bro, and I have not ever said this publicly before, ever. I'm gonna say no though. As the brawl was taking place, right? As horrifying as that was, like knowing it was a national game, and seeing Artest, when I saw Artest go into the stands, and then I saw our Steven Jackson go into the stands and hit a fan, and I saw Jermaine O'Neal do what he did, I was low-key happy.
Why?
I was low-key happy. Because like I mentioned, this was the only team that I thought could and perhaps would beat us in the playoffs. So when this happened, I knew the Pacers were cooked.
Yeah.
They were done. Championship hope is gone bye-bye. Season over. No threat to us. Now that I'm older, my mindset has changed. Now I'm like, no, I want to play them at full strength. I don't want no excuses. I want to prove that it wasn't a fluke last year.
So
You know
back then you was you had like a LeBron type mentality, and now you got a Jordan mentality.
You're not doing that. Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. You speaking a different language right
You
now.
want the easy route, and then but now you want to earn it.
When has LeBron ever said he wanted the easy route? But
I'm
that's
just
another
saying.
story. That's another story. But yeah, you had to throw LeBron in there at some point. I was waiting on that. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted. Now that I'm older, I'm like, no, I want to see both teams at full strength. But at the time, I knew that the Pacers, as long as the Pistons didn't do nothing crazy, right? I knew that we were going to be in better shape than they were after these suspensions. Because let's take a look at the suspensions. Because you got to remember, Adam Silver was not the commissioner. This was David Stern, who ruled with an iron fist. He was known for doling out heavy fines and suspensions anytime there was any violence on the court. It didn't matter. He was always, if you fight, you got something coming, serious coming. So let's start with Indiana suspensions, right? Artest was suspended the rest of the season. This is November. Regular season just started. So he missed the entire year. Jermaine O'Neal got 30 games, which was later arbitrarily cut down to 15, which I don't know why. And then Steven Jackson had 25. So, and then Anthony Johnson, I think he had 5 games. And Reggie Miller had 1 for leaving the bench. The Pistons, on the other hand, Ben Wallace had a whopping 6 games.
6 games.
Chauncey got 1. Eldon Campbell, who my mistake, was still on the team. I misspoke earlier. So he was still on the team in 05. He got 1 game. And Derek Coleman got 1 game. And they all got 1 game for leaving the bench. Because Chauncey ain't fighting nobody. That's not what he does.
Right.
So that crippled Indiana. And we got out unscathed. Like David Stern actually said after those suspensions were handed out, he said the line is drawn, and my guess is that it won't happen again. At least not to anybody who wants to be in our league. So he was trying to make a point, bro. Like that's how David Stern moved when it comes to he had no chill. He wanted to make an example out of these guys.
Right.
And that's what he did. So it's just crazy though, because the Pistons got lucky, man. All the suspensions that were combined for the Pistons only added up to a third of what Jermaine O'Neal's entire suspension was.
Right.
So that's why I was happy, right? Like I knew the season was over. And even though O'Neal, Jackson, and Reggie would come back later in the season, Artest was gone for the year. So like they had a lot of ground to make up as far as getting back into NBA shape, getting reacclimated, with their teammates, all that different stuff. You want to, like, when you go into the playoffs, you want to be reinforcing what you already built over the season. They couldn't do that. They had to, on the fly, try to incorporate all these guys and make it work, and it just didn't work for them. And so, like I said, they did win 1 game against us in the playoffs because we did play them in the playoffs again that season, but I think they only won 1 game. Maybe they got 2, but they didn't have their team. And last thing, John Green. The crazy the part about this whole thing, bro, is like if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't throw the cup, and if it doesn't connect, because he wasn't in the front row.
Right.
He was a ways back, probably 10 rows back.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to land that, what are the odds of that? If he doesn't land that, none of this happens. Like Artest doesn't go into the stands and attack the wrong person. Steven Jackson doesn't attack his friend who hit Artest with the beer. Jermaine O'Neal doesn't hit the fan on the court because there's no fan on the court. So, like, had that beer not been thrown, you're probably looking at what? A double tech. Maybe Ben gets ejected, but it don't matter because the game's over.
Right.
It's just crazy how the domino effect played out because that one action, bro, 20 years later is still being talked about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Listen, man, I just sitting here watching this and as an adult now.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself being a fan during that time. If you're a fan in the crowd and you see these dudes coming up in the crowd.
Right. Right.
Bro, the fade that they would have caught if I was in the crowd.
Exactly.
Like, bro, this is like to have the audacity to actually do that is just crazy to me, man. It just never gets old. Every time I see that, it's like, bro, like, what are you thinking? Like anybody could have did anything to you in them stands. You know what I'm saying? You could have got your career ended in them stands if the right person would get hold of you.
Exactly.
So, but we talking about Ron Artest, right? This is not a guy that's a logical thinker. You know what I'm saying?
Especially back then.
Right. This dude tried to kill James Harden with an elbow. You know what I'm saying? So
Trying to kill Kobe. Trying to go after Kobe.
This man changed his name to Meta World Peace. So this is not a logical human being we talking about, but still,
yeah,
to have the audacity to run up in that crowd. I mean, Ben Wallace is one thing, right? That's basketball. I mean, come on, this is the Pistons. This is what we do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you out of your mind, bro. Like it's no way I'm running up in the crowd and trying to fight everybody in the crowd because somebody threw a cup. Like
you know what that was? Go ahead.
You see people throwing cups, you know, at all type of events. Especially, say for instance, you're a wrestling fan. You see them throwing drinks in these people's faces, all type of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You got to be able to withstand that. Bro, you made a dirty play. These fans are pissed. You laid on the table.
Right.
That's insulting to them. They threw a cup at you. But running up into the damn crowd is like, bro, that's next level stupid for me.
It is. But I know why he did it. He did it because his ego was hurt. His ego took a shot because he didn't do anything back to Ben. He got pushed and everybody's trying to protect him, which means he can't protect himself from Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
And that messed with his ego. That's why he was sitting on the scores table trying to taunt Ben. He was trying to put that anger somewhere. He was trying to retaliate in another way, in any way outside of hurting Ben, because he can't. Right? He wasn't going to try to go back at Ben like you said. So what's the next best target? See, he was on some bully stuff. Mm-hmm. He messes with people who are smaller than him, who he thinks can't hurt him.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said he ain't run up on Ben Wallace.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
But all his teammates
was working then.
All his teammates ran up on Ben to keep him away.
Right.
They know what's up. And see, that's the thing. He know, like them doing that. He knows that they think that that's needed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He knows that they're coming to my defense. Like that must mean that they don't think that I am safe from Ben without them.
Right.
Ego. It messed with his ego. And that's why he did what he did.
Yeah.
From my perspective, at least.
Yeah. We seen the bad boys do some things. Like I said, Ben Wallace is one thing, but running up in the crowd is just overboard. You know what I'm saying? We've seen some things happen on the court. We've also seen Isaiah Thomas get his whole eye split.
Right.
We've seen that too. So right. I mean, as a little dude, you're not gonna keep getting, beat up by these big dudes. You're gonna swing on somebody.
Right.
So it's always the guy that does it in retaliation that gets the, you know what I'm saying?
That gets the like football.
From a New York fan, I don't think New York should be talking either. You know what I'm saying? I was one of them Eastern Conference teams that was doing some stuff too.
Yeah.
You know so
hey, man, y'all stole a game from us last year.
Man, right?
You know what I'm saying? When they ran over a sorry, didn't call it.
Man.
Anyway, that's another story. Shout out to you, blowing
streets. Yeah, definitely shout out to him, man.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, he did. Isaiah did try to. But that's the thing. Isaiah he attacked somebody who was twice his size.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't go after the little.
You're gonna get tired eventually.
He didn't go after a little fan. Somebody who he knew wouldn't be able to protect himself. You see what I'm saying? It's different.
Like I say, I never blame the person who reacts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't blame the person that reacts. It's the person, that's starting it. Like I said, I mean, the bad boys, a lot of incidents, you see them highlights of the bad boys doing this and doing that, man. Y'all don't know how dirty the damn Celtics was, bro.
Man.
The Celtics was dirty,
bro.
Man.
Kevin McHale and them boy. Kevin McHale was dirty, bro. He could hoop. In my opinion, he has the best footwork for a big man outside of Hakeem Olajuwon ever. But he was dirty, bro. That's who the Pistons learned from. The same way the Pistons taught the Knicks. Same thing. Passing the torch. Because the Pistons, right, they were first. That's who the Pistons learned from. And then the Pistons taught the Bulls. And then they taught, after we lost to the Bulls that first time, we were still in the running every year, like 91, 92. We were still getting to the conference semis. But then that's when the Knicks started to make their rise, built off the same template that we had learned from Boston. You know what I'm saying? So it's all cyclical. It all moves in a circle. So it didn't start with us and it didn't end with us. We got two teams we just mentioned who came before and after us. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But but you're definitely correct. You're definitely correct. It definitely was something that took place with the Pistons. They learned it. They implemented it. It worked. The Knicks took it. The Bulls took it. They learned it. They implemented it. It worked.
Puka, yeah.
Kelly Tripucka, man. Yeah, he was a great offensive player, but he's the kind of player that he'll drop 35 and give up 40. Because he didn't play a lick of defense. That's why we traded him for Adrian Dantley. He didn't play a lick of defense, but he was a great offensive player. Great offensive player.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. So that'll be etched in stone forever.
Yeah.
It's Malice at the Palace, man. If you say to any sports fan, just say the word Malice, they can finish the phrase.
Yep.
That's how well known around the world it is.
If you were born and older than 5 years old, you probably know what this is.
Right.
It literally was everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah. And the way that they painted the picture, just made it even worse because it's like, bro, Ben Wallace retaliated, but it wasn't our fault that these dudes ran into the stands and started fighting people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they tried to put it all on Detroit at that time. And that's why I was so mad with the media.
Right.
Even our own radio station back then was putting it on us. 100%. That's why I still don't have no respect for our radio station today at all.
That's a good point, bro.
On the ticket.
You're right.
Man,
even
I remember
back then,
all of that. I remember when they didn't have no faith in the Pistons beating the Lakers. None of that. This is all in our city.
Yeah.
So when everybody be running around celebrating like, the 04 Pistons, I remember this, that, and that. Man, people ain't have faith in the Pistons like that.
No.
I remember like yesterday.
You're right.
Like
no, you're 100% correct.
God rest his soul, but even my pops didn't. You know what I'm saying? It was that deep. And when they won, that's why the climax of them winning was where it was at, man, because nobody thought that they would do that.
You're right. And they still didn't want to give us our respect. Even when they didn't want to give us respect as a basketball team, first of all, because we weren't good enough. And then when we finally won, now they don't want to give us respect as far as our character as a city. This is what they do with Detroit, was the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the narrative.
Yeah. So
I understand, like you said, things get thrown all the time and it doesn't make it right. But the number one rule for every athlete, this, you do not go outside of those lines. Because when you do, you're no longer protected. You saw Ron Artest when he realized what he was doing and he saw myriads of fans like, close, let me get up out of here. I don't care how big, I don't care how many weights you lift. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how strong you are. It's 20,000 people in here, bro. You trying to get out of here alive or not? At that point, nobody had any chill. You see what I'm saying? Like, you already in the foul Ben Wallace hard. You already squaring up with Lindsey Hunter. If you Steven Jackson, squaring up with Lindsey Hunter and Derek Coleman. You know what I'm saying? You already taunting Ben Wallace after you already fouled him hard.
Right.
Nah, bro. Nah, what you expect?
Again, be fortunate that it was in Auburn Hills. Just
bro,
be fortunate because you don't want the city,
man.
It would like that.
It would have been a lot more footage.
It would have been a lot more. It'd have been some
that camera would have been rolling way. Yeah,
that team bus would have been in trouble. It'd have been a lot going on.
It would have been scary, bro. It really would have been scary because you would have had people following. Like it wouldn't have been a good look, bro. It really would not. I'm glad. I'm actually glad it happened there. I'm glad it happened there because everybody is still alive to tell their own version of the story, right or wrong. And at the end of the day, it's bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's about people's lives and being safe. They actually talked about that. Steven Jackson actually talked about that. Like, he said we were afraid for our lives. When he got back on the court, it was like, the security wasn't beefed up like it was. Like, it really just came down to the fans just having some level of restraint. Because at that point, if you come into our territory, we're gonna go into your territory. And there's way more of us than it is, y'all. It wouldn't have been enough security to stop that. Like when national championship games are won and the crowds flood the court, what if that would have happened? Who's getting out of there? You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't even be able to find them because there's so many people on the court. So, like you said, he blanked out, and he's lucky that he's still here to tell this story. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
On the flip side, first of all, let me just take a sec to to acknowledge everybody that's in the comment section. We see all of you guys' comments. I'm definitely reading them.
Yeah, for sure.
We appreciate you guys for giving us feedback. Also, Phantom Lion, I definitely will be doing that again. That was a blast. That's something new that's coming to my channel too. So look for that. But on the flip side of that, it's good to see all of these brothers now as friends on podcasts, just remembering as being young and dumb, what I'm saying? On the flip side of things, them being able to mend those relationships, man, and become some of the best of friends, because especially Steven Jackson and Rashid, man. But that's what you want to see. We look at some of the other relationships that never got fixed. You look at Mike and Isaiah, never fixed.
Right.
Look how long it took before we seen the sit down between Magic Johnson and Isaiah, or Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to see that. You want to see the brotherhood, the maturity come out of these guys and say, hey man, we was young and dumb during those times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's
a good point.
Yeah, that's definitely dope.
Because a lot of those guys were friends, man.
Yeah.
Like Sheed and Steven Jackson, they're friends. Rip and Steven Jackson, they're friends. That's why it was so odd in the moment. And they talked about that. Like in the moment, they're like, yeah, we friends, but we got to ride for our guys right now. You know what I'm saying? But once the crowd started getting involved, then the brotherhood aspect came back. And they're like, then you saw Pistons players trying to get Pacers players out of the stands, protecting them. At first, it was like it was us against y'all. But when the crowd came involved, now it's all of us versus them. Even though this is our home crowd, we want to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah.
So to your point, like they were scared, man. Like Jermaine O'Neal, Steven Jackson, they were afraid, bro. And they appreciated. Steven Jackson said he appreciated Rasheed Wallace coming to his defense.
Right.
He said that. He said, I appreciate Sheed coming to my defense because he didn't have to do that, but we was boys. That's what boys do. So she had to flip his brain from I'm a Detroit Piston to this is our NBA brotherhood. And I give him credit for that.
I totally agree. Biggest jerk I ever seen in my life, man. The greatest basketball playing jerk I ever seen is Michael Jordan.
Yeah, LeBron ain't no jerk. But
simple plan. Yeah, LeBron's crybaby. Anyway,
MJ is crybaby too.
Yeah, feminine LeBron. Listen, Isaiah Thomas gets a terrible rap. He does, man.
Where y'all want to start with Isaiah? Where y'all want to start, man? Like
he always gets the short end of the stick, man. Like I said, it's okay. The situation where he said that, if Bird was black, then he wouldn't be this player and all of that. I get it or whatever. Some people didn't like it. He wasn't lying though, but still.
I mean, no lies told.
I mean, but when you tell the truth or, you say certain things like that, people just ain't going to like it in this world. They didn't like Jesus for telling the truth.
Right.
So they definitely not going to like you.
Right.
So that's just what it is.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, I mean, Isaiah had a lot of things just painted the wrong way about him. And what Jordan did to him, bro, is just like, that's the utmost disgusting. Like, talent is talent, bro. Like, hey, whatever you have, okay, they gave you a couple of hard fouls. They kept kicking you behind. Fine. But come on, bro. That's just.
Yeah. And I like everybody else. I want to say this too. Everybody else talks about John Stockton versus Isaiah Thomas, right? I get it, but that shouldn't even have been the conversation.
At all.
Get Christian Laettner out of here, bro.
Man. We heard that college player.
I don't even want to hear it because they talk about now with Caitlin Clark, how she should be in the team. I understand.
Oh God!
But here's the difference. Even if you want to go that route, as far as the business side of it, like Stephen A was talking about, even if you want to do that route, at least with Caitlin Clark, she is the face of that league. I still don't think she deserves to be there because she hasn't earned her stripes. But if you're going to look at it from the business side of it, at least that's more understandable because of that. Christian Laettner, who was he? When you talk Dream Team, how many people ever even remember he was on the team? How many highlights do you see of him? You barely even see him in the picture.
Get them both.
They don't talk about him in the scrimmages. They don't talk about him at any point of Dream Team. So why is he even there? He doesn't bring more appeal. He doesn't do anything for you.
The fact that John Stockton was walking around with his family and no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
You know what? From a marketing standpoint, you're right.
It is. It's
Because
crazy.
it wasn't just the height.
The NBA still like that though.
It wasn't like he fit in just because of his height.
They're still terrible at marketing certain cities, bro. They're still like that. Because if it wasn't for Anthony Edwards, people would continue to turn their cheek towards Minnesota, bro.
I agree.
I mean, Cat been over there for the man. Ain't nobody talking about Minnesota, even though Cat over there.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards changed all of that. You know what I'm saying? So the NBA needs to do a better job marketing some of these other cities, man. Especially the Portlands and the Utahs and these places, man, because you'll miss out.
Yeah. You got teams like OKC now who ain't getting no shine. All these different teams. Stockton. Okay, let's talk about this. Do you think Stockton is a top 5 point guard?
Do I think he is?
Yes. I think it's debatable.
I'll say yes because of I don't always we look at a lot of the guards and we look at what they can do. Like this dude is the greatest 3-point shooter. This dude has this handle. This guy is this athletic, whatever. When you look at how many times those dudes were, I mean, this was a perennial playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Even though they didn't get to the full cup, these dudes were always in the mix. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, he did throw the ball to Karl Malone 82,000.
That's what I was gonna get to, but
I get it.
So that's my thing, bro. Like, I understand. Like, first of all, shout out to him because he is by far and away the league leader in assists, and he was a good defender too. He was a good defender. I will give him that, and he can shoot pretty well. Not the greatest shooter, but he wasn't Jeff Hornacek, but he was good. He was reliable. I would have liked to see him in another team, in another system, with different personnel, and just see how he would have played then, and see how effective he would have been then. Not to say that he wouldn't have been, but all we saw was a pick and roll you to death for 15 years.
Yes.
Like, I just don't know. For me, like, you got to be versatile. I want to see versatility in your game. That's why, like, Isaiah to me is by far and away one of the best point guards. Magic, one of the best point guards. You know what I mean? Like,
put the team on your back.
Put the team on your back, right? Like the versatility. Like, if your guy goes out, can you still play with these guys? If Karl Malone's injured, can you still play? Can you still carry your team to the playoffs and do on the you know what I'm saying? Like Isaiah did, like Magic did when he dropped 40 as a rookie. Like, that's what I look at. Are you versatile? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he is.
I can't put him in the top 5, bro.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm sitting here thinking of point guard. I just can't, bro. I can't even put him. Who you got? Pistol Pete. I can't put him over Pistol Pete.
I don't know if I can either. So who do you have? Like those some names like that. We got Magic, obviously. You got Isaiah. You got Steph.
Magic is always going to be a top
number 1
5-point guard.
He's number 1 for me.
Always going to be in the conversation.
So that's 2.
I don't consider Steph Curry.
I know you don't. I'm gonna give it to him because that's been the position. That's been the looking at the personnel on a team. That's been the position that he has played probably more than anybody else on the team.
Right.
So because of that, he's the closest thing to point guard that they had.
Here's my thing. Steph is not going to kill you an entire game dishing the ball. He's not going to lock up the best player on the opposite side. He's not going to do anything else but shoot. That's why I can only hold him as a top 5 shooter of all time.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Okay.
But
I'm not mad at that. I see what you're saying.
Because a point guard is what? He's a floor general. He controls everything, right? You know, he gets guys the ball. He gets guys off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. I'm not mad at that. So you don't like. I have him in mind.
Yeah.
Because when he came into the league, that's the position he played. Now it wasn't traditional point guard because he runs off. He plays a lot like Rip. It's like Rip playing point guard in a sense, as far as running off screens.
There's the guy.
Because Draymond Green. Go ahead.
No, don't finish because I have to replace him with this guy.
No, go ahead. So you got CP. So in your mind, CP is better than John Stockton. I may have to agree with that. Yeah. Not on the numbers, not based off of the numbers, just based off of the eye test for me.
CP is just, man, unfortunate situations. You know, I just wish I could put him on the team that I want him on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's just
So
I
like
can't even say it's the old way of thinking because if you look at some of the guards that we just seen and we continue to watch in the playoffs,
yeah,
that style of play ain't dead. Luka,
that's
this is
true.
the ball. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That's not that play. That style is not dead. It's not a point guard is a point guard.
Right.
And it's not just because you're the first guy coming up the court with the basketball. That's not what makes you a point guard.
For
certain things make you a point guard. Isaiah is going to go at your best guy with the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Magic is going to go at these guys can take over games.
Right. Right.
John Stockton cannot.
Yeah.
He's the guy passing the ball to the guy.
You're right.
You know, so I can't put him in the top 5.
I feel it. And it's like, I mean, I understand what Blanche Tears is saying, but we're talking about the best point guards. So you can't say it's positionless and then say Steph is your best. Like if that's the case, we can't even have a conversation. If today's game is positionless basketball, we can't say who's the best anything. So we gotta define it somehow. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Now I'm finna go deep into some basketball, right?
Let's do it.
I was one of the first people chirping it and saying that small ball was a myth.
Yeah,
where's small ball right now? You know what I'm saying? Don't confuse what you see with one team and what they do and say this is the league now. That's not what it is. That style of play still exists today.
That's true.
It very well. Even with Wemby handling the ball. Listen, I can go back into those days and be even back into the 80s and point out some bigs that did control the basketball at times.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've watched a lot of basketball.
Yeah, bro. We junkies, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, some of the stuff we claim that we see today, like it never happened back then, it happened back then.
Yeah.
It definitely happened back then.
Right. And that's not to say that Blanche Tears or anybody didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying y'all didn't. We're just talking about what we personally saw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that I saw too. You know what I'm saying?
NBA,
so it's like
they're masters at marketing, Deuce. They're masters at marketing because they'll have the media and everyone else telling you this, and this, and then the fans they'll start believing it because that's what happened with small ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what happened with Golden State. Now this is how your team has to be, and this, that. No, it's not.
Right.
Whatever works for your team to win is what works for your team.
Facts.
Whoever wins the championship is who the worst teams in the league are going to try to model themselves after.
I agree.
Bad teams model themselves after the champion.
That's true.
That is evident.
That's true.
But when
you're right.
Yeah, when you have a good basketball team and you build it your way, like the Pistons in both eras.
Yeah.
You know
the same exact way. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's facts, bro. That's all facts. This is interesting too. Yes, he was.
Yes,
he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And that shot was ugly, but yes,
it was ugly when he put that weird leg thing he would do with his leg when as ugly as it looks, I still expected it to go in every time. So question for you. So we talked about John Stockton. I'm gonna just throw some names out there and you let me know if you think they're better than John Stockton. Steve Nash.
Yes.
J Kidd.
Hell yes.
Okay. I'm just trying to see where your mind is at. Those are the only two I really thought about because I really don't think that. I personally think Jason Kidd is better than from the eye test. I would rather have Jason Kidd than John Stockton.
Yeah.
On my basketball team because he's bigger and defensively I think he's a little bit better. He is the ultimate table setter.
Yeah,
he is the ultimate table setter. I think more than a Nash. More than, and maybe he's more of a table setter more than Nash because he wasn't the shooter that Nash was. Maybe it's possible because Nash could shoot that thing too, which made the offense better. So I give him credit for that. But I think as far as just knowing where everybody is supposed to be before they even get there, I think Jason Kidd his vision, man, is damn near unmatched.
I've seen Jason Kidd take over a game. I've seen Steve Nash take over. We talking about somebody. Did John Stockton win MVPs?
No.
So that's why, you know, when I see like these comments, I like to say I've watched.
I see. Yeah.
These. I've watched basketball.
Yeah.
So ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? This dude he's won MVP.
Back to back. Over Shaq.
Shaq still need therapy about it.
Yes. He's still been on the couch talking about it.
Shaq said that, you know, that it was this little Canadian woman that won MVP running all around the court. I remember like yesterday when Shaq was talking about it. But like I said, we be so quick to forget these guys, man, because I mean, you look at a guy like, you know, like John Stockton, like we said, if you watched him play, you knew what he was doing out there.
Absolutely.
Giving the ball to Malone most of the time.
Yep.
These guys were doing other things. You know, they provided you other. John Stockton ain't stopping nobody on nobody's team. Nobody. I don't care if you got if Calderon coming up the court.
If it's a close game and Karl Malone fouls out, I don't think the Jazz are going to win. Straight up. You see what I'm saying? Because he can't take the game over. Like you said, he's a systemic point guard, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But when you're talking top five, you know what I'm saying? You got little room for error as far as any weaknesses or anything like that. So let's go through these names because we got some good names in here. JoJo White was cold, bro. I watched. If you've ever seen Glory Road, watch that movie. That's where I first was introduced to JoJo White. He was cold. He was nice. Tiny Archibald. He was also okay. Tiny Archibald is better than John Stockton. I'm sorry, he's better than John Stockton. Yeah. Hal Greer. I think that's a toss-up. I think that's a toss-up. I don't know if I don't know because I don't want to disrespect John either. I don't want to be disrespectful to him either because he was nice.
Abdul Rauf was better than Stockton, bro.
I don't know, bro. He was more talented. Look, he was more talented for sure. What? He was more talented for sure.
Man,
he was. Abdul Rauf was more talented than John Stockton.
I ain't saying he top 5. I say he's better than Stockton.
At some point, I gotta include the numbers. I don't think he was overwhelmingly better enough to offset those numbers that John Stockton had.
Man, Rauf.
Personally, that's just me.
Man, he was
with them Denver days. He was a problem. He was a problem. Nasty. Let me ask you, okay, what about Rod Strickland?
Rod Strickland was cold.
Was he better than John Stockton?
Yeah, I mean, better
toss-up, right?
Yeah.
Toss-up, okay.
Yeah, like they were talented, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Penny Hardaway was better than.
That's my favorite player ever. Him and Isaiah.
AI. I can go all day.
I'm taking all these guys,
bro. I'd rather have healthy and I would rather have a healthy Steve Francis before I have Stockton.
I don't know if I'd go there because franchise can't orchestrate an offense for me the way I need him to. That's why he ain't doing in the playoffs. To be honest. I love Steve Francis, but I can't put him over John Stockton.
Those dudes, Steve Francis, Baron Davis, all of them dudes.
No, Baron is different.
Dogs.
But to me, Baron was more of a point guard than Steve Francis was. Steve Francis was like a scoring guard. He was a scoring electric player. Baron Davis was dishing that thing, bro.
He was.
You know what I'm saying? He was doing everything.
Dunking on people, crossing people.
Dunking on Kirilenko, upsetting Dallas. That was not, you know what I'm saying? Like
a monster.
He got accomplishments, you know, in the playoffs. Steve franchise, not so much. Tony Parker, I'm taking him all day. Yeah. Give me Tony, give me D Rose, give me Walt Frazier, give me Penny if you don't get hurt. Easy. Kevin Johnson is tough. Is he better than Kevin Johnson? Is Kevin Johnson better? They played a lot.
Kevin Johnson was a dog. KJ was man. Listen,
Duncan on Hakeem.
I was about to say, I put this air dog code in on NBA NBA Jam right now. I get KJ and kill you out there.
Probably so. Yeah, man. I think that's a watch because they would go at each other, and then from what I saw, it was pretty much a standstill between the two. They will both play well against each other. So I think that's a good one. Oscar Robertson, absolutely, no question about it. No question about it.
One more name to this list, T. White. One more name to this list. Those were travesties, but there was a kid in Portland. His name was Brandon Roy.
Yes, absolutely, man. Absolutely. If his legs don't go shot, if he don't lose his legs,
nasty.
Man, I really don't even have a player count for him. Like he was just different, bro.
Freakishness. It was so scary to see D-Rose. I'm sorry, good Lord. Damian Lillard do the exact same thing he did.
I was just about to say that, bro.
It was like verbatim, bro. It was like, bro.
Because he did it first.
Right. It was the exact same thing.
And his was bottoms, bro. Man. String music. Way up in the air for like 30 seconds. Yeah, he was incredible, bro.
He was.
He was a shot maker the way Dame is. Like he had all of that shot making.
Yeah.
The same way Dame does. He was that guy. 100%.
What you think about I know you probably don't like this dude because you say a lot of irrational things, but think about Gilbert Arenas.
Better talent.
Better talented.
Much better talent. Way more talented.
Dude was pulling from half court.
But once again, he is a scoring guard. He's not going to set up my offense. If I'm playing one game and I'm putting a team together, I'm probably taking John Stockton over him because I know that position is going to be ran the right way. He may not be my star. If you're asking if I can have one, like if I can have one player of that caliber and everybody else is role players, give me Gilbert, of course. But if I'm looking to build off of that, I don't need my point guard to be my star.
I want
my point guard to set everybody else up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
we threw a lot of names in front of John Stockton. Now here's my thing with John Stockton. I would love to see John Stockton on some of the other teams built. Say for instance, you swap him for somebody like Magic Johnson, put him on the Lakers with that team, or if you put John Stockton over there. Just think of some of the better built teams where he'll be able to dish the ball around to other guys besides Karl Malone.
That's a good point.
That may open
a great point.
Page for him.
You know what?
I ain't gonna knock him too much.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the Jazz, they like to get out. They were a good defensive team. They like to get out and run.
Yeah.
You saw how many times Karl Malone going like this as he's done, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what they like to do. So like you said, imagine him over there in LA with Kareem and with Byron Scott and James Worthy and all these guys, man. Like
setting them guys up.
Setting the table for those guys, man. That would AC Green, all them guys, man. That would have been a serious problem.
Now, let's climax it and end it with this one.
All right.
John Stockton or Chauncey Billups?
Give me Chauncey. No question.
Without a hezzy, huh?
No question. Yeah, no hezzy at all. No hezzy, no Euro, no nothing. Give me Chauncey all day. To me, Chauncey is one of the most steadiest point guards I have ever seen in my life. I never worry about him turning the ball over. I never worry about him making the wrong play. He's not flashy at all, and it doesn't matter even more.
Yeah, and if I'm looking for a point guard,
yes,
I like his build. You know what I'm saying? His build, his mental, everything. You know what I'm saying? Bigger point guard, can bag you on the box if he needs to. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, knows how to hit everybody on the court. Had Rip running like poetry. You know what I'm saying? It was poetry in motion out there with Rip. You know, and those guys out there knew how to hit everybody in their spots. Man, I love point guards like that. I love people who play their position. I really do, man, because if you play it and you play it to the fullest, man.
And another thing with Chauncey, he was successful with Detroit, Denver, New York, the Clippers, wherever he once he figured it out.
Yeah.
Once he got with Larry Brown, his game was transferable anywhere.
Yeah. Larry Brown took the selfishness out of him.
100%. If Steve Francis had a Larry Brown, now we having a whole, you see what I'm saying? A whole, because Steve Francis was Chauncey before Chauncey got with Larry Brown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But with more athleticism. So, yeah, once Chauncey got with Larry Brown, bro, everywhere he went after that, he just took that same blueprint and did it everywhere else. And I don't know if John Stockton could have done that. That was my point with that. That's a great one to end it on, though. Yeah, give me Chauncey all day long. Yeah. All day long, bro. All day long. So, yeah, I see some more names in here. T-Mac, D-Rose, yeah. Is Kareem overrated? That's an interesting question.
There's no way that somebody shooting a skyhook and leading the league and scoring for that many years is overrated.
Let me ask you a question. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, right? But let me ask you this. We talk about, with John Stockton, we talk about versatility. Did Kareem have versatility? You just mentioned that one shot that he went to Did he have versatility?
He didn't hook all the time. He didn't hook. He'll shoot you a 15 footer.
He was hooking 75% of the time, bro.
But still, he blocked shots too.
Absolutely. Oh, defensively, no question.
Too.
Defensively,
so,
he was a
what
dog.
every typical big did, but he just had an unstoppable move.
You're saying in addition, okay, got you.
Just like the rest of the bigs, he had
something
that they didn't, which was an unstoppable move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could not stop it. So I mean,
so he had that plus. Okay.
Yeah, plus everything else.
Okay.
I mean, he did basic center stuff. You know.
Right.
But that move, you couldn't stop it.
And he won at every level too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He won at every level, high school, college, NBA. And he's the only player in history with 6 MVPs. Regular season MVPs. Only guy.
Yep.
So I don't think he's overrated. I think sometimes he's actually underrated. Because when people talk about Rushmore, some people don't even have him in there. Right. They got Steph in there and they don't have him in there. They got Will. It's just like, bro, what? Up until last year, he was the leading scorer of all time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think if anything, he's underrated.
So here's where this doesn't apply for me because I've seen where Kareem had the game put on his back plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? When guys just couldn't get it going.
Yeah.
They put the game on Kareem's back. Kareem won a lot of those games just off of what he does.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get it if he was just a guy sitting around on a superstar-studded team and he Robert Horry. That's different. you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if he just like a bus rider, you know what I'm saying? But playing a little role here and there, but nah. Horry got 6 championships, 7 championships? Something like that. Something crazy. 5? 7. Yeah. He's got 7. He's got 2 with Houston, bro. 3 with the Lakers, and I think 2 with the Spurs. Sheesh.
Nobody pisses me off more than Robert Horry, bro.
Al Horford.
Because after he hits the shot, I can't stand Al. But after he hit them shots, bro, he just act like he just been dogging all game, bro.
You know what's crazy? I loved him until 2005. I loved him with Houston. I loved him with LA when they escaped Sacramento. I hated him in San Antonio, bro. That garbage shot that rattled in.
I was mad at that shot. I was mad at Rashid.
I know. But I was mad that it was him.
Yeah.
I was mad that it was him. But yeah. I definitely think Robert Horry, man, he is a beneficiary of circumstance.
Right.
He can shoot, but he's a beneficiary of circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
For real. One more thing I wanted to get to. Shout out to y'all too for y'all comments. And we appreciate all the love, man. Yeah. We appreciate y'all input too, for real. Y'all keeping this conversation really interesting with us.
Guys, great.
The biggest what if. Who do you think is the biggest what if as far as if they don't get hurt? I hear this a lot. And there's a few guys that come to mind. The same probably few guys you're thinking about.
I got it.
So my guy, go ahead. Yeah, hit me.
D Rose.
Yep.
Grant Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Penny Hardaway.
Okay.
I kind of want to say I kind of want to say T-Mac.
Mm-hmm. Why kinda?
Because T-Mac did have his moments and opportunity to play a little bit more than some of them guys. But
yeah,
I'm gonna replace T-Mac. I'm gonna leave him off for right now. I'm gonna put Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy was definitely taking the league by storm.
As far as who was about to hit the pinnacle and then got cut short for you. Okay.
Cut short.
Okay. Out of those, I want to add one more to the mix. And we'll have a top because I want to know who is the guy for you of everybody.
Who's the guy of everybody for me?
This guy right here is up there.
Yeah, Len Bias.
This guy right here is up there. Len Bias was giving Jordan problems in college, bro.
Yep.
He was a bigger version. Like, go back and watch them games, man.
Oh, I was gonna put him on the list, Joshua, but we talking about guys that was about to hit the pit. Greg Oden, bro. He would have been nice, but we talking about guys that was about to hit that man.
Yeah,
and
it's tough though. It's like
guy.
Okay, hit me. G Hill, Grant Hill.
Look
okay, I'm not mad at that.
They were giving this man the keys to the league, bro.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
was
they
next.
were. Yep. When Jordan retired for the 30th time, Grant Hill got in there, and you're right though. He was the guy. Because it wasn't just about talent. He had the look. He was made for it. Everything about him fit.
Oh, that's a good one.
What, PG?
PG,
Yeah.
bro.
But PG, you know what? PG came back and still was an MVP level candidate when he went to OKC. Remember that? He was like, I think he finished like third in MVP voting.
He wasn't he still wasn't Indiana.
You don't think he was still Indiana, PG? Really?
Bro. That was a different
man.
beast, bro. That was a different beast.
I'll just say this. Because you're right. I'll just say this. Watch him that first year with Russell Westbrook, bro. Because I know I'm with you, Indiana, because he was having me concerned because they was about to beat Miami. LeBron, he was going toe to toe with Bron. Bron was like, yeah, high five, good shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but PG at OKC, bro, that one season when he was top 3 in MVP voting, which he wasn't with Indiana, he was going nuts. Pause.
Yeah.
But that's a good one. PG is a really good one. Because you're right. The time he missed in between there is what hurt him the most.
Right.
The time that he lost. He got back pretty much to that level, but could he have done with that time when he got hurt? Couldn't he have gotten to the finals? That you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. So that's a really good what if. That's a really, really good what if.
Yeah.
Bill Walton, that's another good one. If he doesn't have those foot injuries, man, Bill Walton, the top big of all time, hands down.
Era back then, man. You know, when it comes to injuries, the injuries took guys out back then.
Yeah, this one hurts a little bit. Even though he wasn't like a pinnacle player, like a top shelf player, I watched him in high school, man.
Very talented.
When he had them braids, you know what I'm saying? His injury was just as horrific as PG's, if not more.
I don't think we can put this guy on the list, man. I think it's just more of him being selfish. That he's a selfish dude, bro. Like, you can't tell me some of those injuries be holding him out as long as they do. This dude is Greg Popovich talked about how selfish this dude is. He's selfish, bro.
Okay.
He's just selfish.
Okay. It's hard for me because nobody knows your body but you.
Man, nah.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to juxtapose and to be like, yeah, he hurt this game, but this game I don't know, man. I feel like maybe that's the case, but I can't say for sure, so I don't know. Because what if they were pushing him before it was time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but they going crazy with some of these names, bro. Hold on.
You dig it, bro.
Drazen, bro. He was cold.
Yo, yeah, he was, dog.
He went at Jordan, bro.
Yeah.
Did you remember that? He was not afraid of Michael Jordan, bro. He was going at Jordan in his face. And Jordan was kind of like surprised, like, who's this dude?
Bro.
He was nice.
Petrovic,
rest in peace, man. Tragically passed. Was it a train accident or a car accident? I think it was a train or car accident.
I can't remember. I watched that documentary too.
I did too. Chat, let us know. But Drazen, he was nice, man. At that time, he was one of the best foreign players ever. At that time, easy.
Before Manu,
before Manu, it was like him and Arvidas. Those was the and Vlade. Those was the guys. Those was the guys. Yeah. I like that. A rich man, Scottie Pippen. Scottie was a better defender. I will give him that.
Yeah.
Everything else, Grant Hill was better.
Craziest first step I ever seen, bro.
Man, I'll never forget watching when he crossed the meth out of Scottie Pippen. And Jordan was just like, yikes.
Man, he dunked on Lonzo Mourning, bro.
That too. So here's the thing. I don't know. I might have to say D Rose.
That's your guy.
Because,
that's your guy.
I think that might be my guy only because we talk about like getting close to that point, right? Like the timing of it too has to play a part. That's why for me it's hard to say Len Bias because he never played in the NBA. Even though in college he was crazy. But for me, it has to be like you have to be right there. And for me, out of everybody we mentioned, he's the only MVP.
Yeah. I'm not
he's the youngest ever MVP.
I'm not gonna argue. Only reason probably G Hill probably wouldn't win the MVP because Jordan was still in the league. But
that was a golden time. You're right.
D Rose, you got to respect that because Bronze was in the league when he was doing
it. True. You have Bron
and Kobe.
Kobe was still there. Yeah. So
I'm not gonna argue.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm dead serious for the Pistons fans that been around for a minute. Y'all know.
Oh yeah.
Even before he got on this team, Derrick Rose has always been one of my favorite players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
All time, bro. I've never seen nothing in person do some of the stuff that he was doing, bro, live like that.
Bro. It's like his body was built differently.
He was next
level.
Like
his body was constructed because even like a Russell Westbrook, as athletic as he is, we may not have seen a guard that like that just violent with his athleticism, but we've seen
power, athleticism,
right? But we've seen with even Westbrook, we've seen guys like Steve Francis or Baron Davis who's built like that.
Yeah.
Similarly, Rose was just like he was just herky. He was just it's like his body was just constructed differently.
This dude would literally he will hit you with a stutter step and disappear, bro,
and be gone.
And before you know it, he's jumping over whoever is down there,
bro.
Like this dude, athleticism was stupid, man.
Yeah. Like when they played, he kind of reminded me of Penny, not his game, but as far as just taking on and not being afraid of anybody. Like when D Rose took on LeBron and D Wade, he didn't beat them, but it was a few plays where he took both of them on a fast break and had them both looking silly.
Man,
the same way Penny had Jordan and Scottie Pippen looking silly.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Like those are probably my biggest two. But yeah, man. Like I feel like Penny Hardaway, bro. Like you mentioned, Grant Hill. I felt like at that point, it's a pick'em between Penny and Grant. It's a pick'em. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as who's gonna be that guy.
Different, man. They were just different.
Yeah,
Penny was another big, tall guard that you just was doing stuff he shouldn't have had business doing. I would say that. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, and that's why I was kind of iffy on T-Mac too, because T-Mac was 6'9". Kobe was right.
He was 6'8". He was 6'8".
Man, you seen this man in person? That man is 6'9", bro.
They say 6'8".
I've seen him in person, bro. He's 6'9". I've seen him and Tayshaun in person, bro.
So they're the same height.
A big dude, bro.
They're the same height. You're saying?
Yeah,
T-Mac and okay.
Yes,
he's always listed as 6'8". That's all I'm saying.
Man, that man.
So if he's 6'9", maybe he's 6'8" with socks on or something.
Man, I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I hear you.
Big dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? And doing the stuff he was doing, like say, he's another guy. Pull that mud up, damn near from half court in your face.
Right.
Go dunk on your biggest guy.
Right.
Cross you up. All type of stuff, bro.
Yeah. There was a point. It was a small period of time where he was better than Kobe.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was better than Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm just, okay, yeah. Like Orlando, early Houston. Like that time, like 13 points, 35 seconds, Houston. Man. That version of T-Mac, I don't know anybody else who could do that. I don't know anybody else who could do that. Maybe Steph, maybe.
And I would say he pull up in your face, bro. Like it was unfair. It was nothing
that's the thing
about it.
Like I take that back. He's the only player who I think that I've seen that could do that. Because not only was he getting his shot off, even though he knew everybody was coming, he was getting Tim Duncan in the air.
Yes.
Taking the contact, still making a three.
Yep.
Like Steph ain't doing that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He getting knocked down to the floor and shooting and making his free throws. But T-Mac, man, you're right. He's up there too, bro. Even though he was able to play longer and reached his apex, I think, or got close to it.
Yeah.
He just, man, if he would have stayed healthy, bro, all these guys would have probably gotten a ring at some point if they would have stayed healthy.
Yeah.
T-Mac would have got one. D Rose definitely would have got one. Penny would have got one. Grant Hill would have. Well, hopefully, I would like to think Grant Hill would have got one with us. But at that time, I don't know because we. Yeah, exactly. Maurice. 050. That's the best version of Tracy McGrady I've ever seen. And there really wasn't anybody in my mind who was better than him. Nobody.
Man.
No, not Tim Duncan, not KG, nobody. That period of time, he was the best player in the league. Mm-hmm. Pistons, I was waiting for you, bro. We was talking about the Malice of the Palace earlier. Yeah, Penny was raw, bro. Like I said, him and Isaiah are my favorite players of all time. Just the way they played the game, bro. I just love the way they played the game. So
It's just different, man.
it was just different, bro. Vince Carter was. I think T Mac was better than Vince, though.
Yeah, he was better.
I think T Mac. He wasn't more athletic.
Nobody was.
Who was right? Who was right? Right. You know what's crazy? I saw how much more athletic Vince was than T Mac in that All-Star game. Because I watched them play together in Toronto. You probably watched them play together in Toronto too.
Yeah.
And they both was jumping out the gym.
Yeah.
When I saw that dunk contest, I'm like, yeah, it's not even close.
Vince was ridiculous, bro.
And Vince was lacking 3 inches.
Man.
He was Kobe. He was 6'6".
Man. No doubt.
So, man, yeah. I walked right into that one. I didn't even see that. Man, oh man. But yeah, man, T-Mac is definitely, yeah, you can't really go wrong. But if I had to pick one guy, just one, I'm going D Rose. Who you going?
You, bro. Damn.
That's hard, ain't it?
He's just one of my favorite players that you just pick. I'm gonna stick with G Hills because you already picked.
Okay.
Him.
Oh, yours is D Rose? Okay.
Yeah, no, yours was D Rose.
Yeah.
Man, I said G Hill because of where he was at in the league, and the league was literally everybody was giving him the keys.
Right.
You know, decide D Rose was taking them. He was taking the keys. He didn't give
right.
that. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't care nothing about Brian.
Nothing.
Yeah. I respected that.
Nobody was scared of nobody, bro. And like I said, that's an excellent pick. Excellent pick.
That's probably the best one, bro. Like I said, the only MVP in the list. He probably would have gotten a few more. I shudder to think about what would have happened in that Eastern Conference had he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
With that Miami team. Not taking nothing, that's my goal. But real recognize real. D Rose, there was a point when if Bron is here, D Rose is like right here.
Yeah, bro. Because like I said, at the end of a game, man, if you anywhere close, you in trouble, bro. Because D Rose is giving you everything at that point.
Right. Athletically,
and
he was
ready to hit a game winner here and there. So
yeah, for sure, he hit one against the Heat in the playoffs.
Yeah,
athletically, he was every bit Bron was. He just wasn't 6'8".
Yeah, he was a finisher, man.
Yeah. I miss those days, man.
Glory days.
I miss watching him play. It was hard for me to watch him play here and just see him as a shell of himself, man. Like it was still him,
right?
And he was still effective because he learned how to play differently.
Right.
Still the same moves, just a part second slower.
Right.
But it's just like, man. So yeah, that's a good topic though. Yeah, I definitely wanted to get your thoughts on that for sure. Yeah, man. So that's all I really wanted to get to tonight, man. We appreciate y'all comments, man. Anybody else want to throw at us real quick before we get out of here? But other than that, bro, I think this was good, man. We got a chance to really get into the meat and potatoes of our conversation, though, about Malice at the Palace. It's crazy. It's been 20 years, bro.
Right.
20 years, man.
Fresh
out of high school. Fresh out of high school, bro. Because you was 04, right?
Yeah, definitely graduated 04.
Yeah.
Greatest year I ever had right there, boy. 04.
Don't tell your wife that.
Boy.
Don't tell your wife that.
Man, the Pistons won and graduating high school. I'm done with school.
That's the apex, bro. Right.
And the Pistons won.
What are the odds? Right? Like, yeah, it felt like a dream. And we beat the Lakers again.
Man, what?
It was storybook.
That summer was great.
It was storybook. That was when Chappelle was hot. All that stuff. That was just a good thing. That was just a good time, bro. That was a good time. But yeah, last thing I wanted to ask you this or hit this here. I wonder if Ivy had time with D Rose and the Pistons, how he would have developed over. You know what? They have very similar skill sets.
Here's the thing.
That's interesting. Go ahead.
Here's the thing with that situation. You almost kind of got to feel like he'd be a lot better because it's what I've been asking for not only him, Cade too. I want that type of guard or veteran here. You know what I'm saying? That they can actually learn something from. Like I said, that's what I was talking about. That's why I used to get so mad with Corey Joseph being here. It's like, bro, what is he teaching them? You know what I'm saying? Like what the hell are you gonna tell them? Nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we need some guys that's been at the pinnacle, man.
He's just gonna tell them about his experience in San Antonio.
Man,
You know, when I was at the end of the bench in San Antonio, we won a championship. Like that's
Right.
that's really all. It's gonna be what he saw, not what he did.
like, man, if you don't get out of my face, I would have cooked you then and now. Like, what? Get out
You
of
know
my
what I'm
face.
saying? Right.
Like,
Right.
like, listen,
Yeah. Yeah. So
they need that though. They need that.
yeah, man.
Guys, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So probably so, D-Buck. He probably would be much further along in his growth than sitting on the bench when he's not supposed to be. Having his confidence messed with. Having him, even if that would have happened, having a D Rose to pull him to the side and say, bro.
Not even a D Rose, but at least a decent coach too. That'll help.
A coach that cared, that seemed to care.
Yeah, exactly. You know
what I'm saying? I don't want to say Monty isn't a decent coach. I just feel like Monty is a terrible coach for this team. He doesn't care right now. He don't seem to care right now.
Right.
I just think that's what, if this was 4 or 5 years ago when he was with Phoenix, then maybe he would invest more into this team.
Right.
But now, I just don't see it. He's probably right. Hopefully this doesn't affect Ivy long term. I don't think it will because he's stubborn. He's like, I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be great.
Worked too hard, how he's built. Man. The dude works too hard, man.
And his father is not gonna let him take any days off, bro. We know that much. Well,
or his mama.
Neil, for that matter. Neither one of them. Yeah. So he's gonna be just fine. Or Ivy sitting in the corner, 100%. So yeah, man, good conversation, y'all. We're gonna call it tonight. We appreciate y'all's feedback, man. This was a great conversation. Y'all know y'all basketball, man. I gotta give y'all credit, unless y'all was on Google. Hopefully y'all wasn't on Google cheating. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't right now. But yeah, this was a very very good conversation. We appreciate y'all showing up and showing out as always.
Yep.
You got anything else, bro?
That's it, man. We had a good one.
Yeah. So we will be back. What's tomorrow? Wednesday? We'll be back tomorrow we'll be reacting to game 3 of the NBA Finals. Go check out game 1 and game 2 on our channels if you haven't already. Good stuff there. But we'll be back tomorrow or Thursday with that, and we'll go from there. Any Pistons news that we hear, if we don't put it here, it'll be on Twitter or anywhere else. So we'll keep you on the loop for sure, whatever we hear. So with that in mind, we are going to call it a night. And once again, thank you y'all for coming through, and we will see y'all next time. Detroit versus everybody.
Peace.
Peace.